Region 8 News starts right now.
Good morning, Region 8. It's 6 o'clock and a beautiful start to the day. Let's head on over to meteorologist Brian McCormick for a look at your forecast. Good morning.
Good morning, Destiny.
Thank you, Brian. New overnight, a high-speed chase ends in a violent crash. The chase started with a shooting at a California home around 8 last night. Police chased the suspects along multiple freeways and through several neighborhoods. The car smashed into another car that was turning onto a road. Multiple suspects jumped out and ran away on foot. At least 5 were taken into custody within a few minutes. 3 people, including a child, were in the car that was hit. They were evaluated by paramedics and did not appear to have serious injuries. Happening today, the private funeral for Rayshard Brooks will be held in Atlanta. A public viewing was held yesterday at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. served as a co-pastor. Dr. King's daughter, the Reverend Bernice A. King, is scheduled to speak there today. Brooks was killed during an altercation with 2 officers in Atlanta on June 12th. It added to the ongoing nationwide protest against racial injustice. Those 2 officers faced charges in Brooks' death. The topic of police brutality and racial inequality continues to make headlines around the country. Adam Jones joins us now with a Central Arkansas man that provides a unique perspective. New this morning, a new task force is working on police policy changes in Arkansas. Alexis Wainwright talked with 2 19-year-old UCA students that are the youngest members on the committee.
Layla and we saw the video of George Floyd.
That was Alexis Wainwright reporting for us this morning. The task force will make its final recommendations to Governor Asa Hutchinson by December 31st. Now to the latest on COVID-19 in Arkansas. There are over 5,000 active cases, 227 people have died due to the virus, and over 10,700 people have recovered. Yesterday, Governor Hutchinson reported that hospital capacity was 71% occupied. ICU bed capacity was at a 78% occupancy. However, ventilator capacity is 65% available. The governor addressed hospital capacity during his daily news conference yesterday. Officials with UAMS have been monitoring the situation. Places like Northwest Arkansas are near capacity. If they get to the point where they can't meet those hospital demands, they can provide capacity assistance. Short-term plans could involve transferring from those facilities, but there have also been talks about long-term plans.
We've had discussions with those facilities about moving healthcare providers to those areas, to those hospitals, so that if Washington Regional and Mercy Hospital need to expand the number of beds that are capable of handling COVID-19 patients in their facilities, that they can tap into UAMS Human Resources to ensure that that happens.
Governor Hutchinson will have another press conference today to update you about COVID-19. You can watch his press conference at 1:30 this afternoon on all of our KAIT platforms. The time now is 6:07, still to come on Good Morning Region 8. You'll hear from a Northwest Arkansas nurse that was on the COVID-19 front lines in New York, and now she's helping out at home. And later we'll explain what contact tracing is and why it's so important. We have a consumer alert to pass along. There are 6 more reports of identity theft under investigation with Jonesboro Police. One of the latest victims found out after hearing he was not eligible for unemployment benefits, but he is employed and never filed for himself. That brings the total number of unemployment reports to 25. We had 19 filed just Friday afternoon. The Division of Workforce Services says this is a statewide issue. If you think you're a victim of fraud or if you want tips to protect yourself, we have all of that information available on our website. Fast food chain KFC has unveiled what it calls a restaurant of the future. It's an automated store where customers and employees barely interact. This outlet is in Russia. After the food is cooked, a robotic hand puts the order into a secure box, which can be opened by a code given to the customer. Customers can pay with either bank cards or by using face biometric data after completing a registration process. New this morning, Brittany Diaz works as a travel nurse. Her most recent job was battling COVID-19 in New York. She originally planned to rest after returning home, but with the rising cases in Northwest Arkansas, she's already back to work. Kendall Ashman reports.
Really appreciate life a lot more than I did.
Have you felt lonely as a result of all the physical distancing due to the pandemic? If so, a new study from Florida State University suggests you may actually be in the minority. Researchers surveyed over 1,500 adults at the beginning of the year before the pandemic, a second time in late March, and again in late April. They found no significant change in levels of loneliness across the three surveys. The scientists say many of the participants had reported reaching out to loved ones via video chats, which may have provided a buffer against loneliness. The demand for contact tracers continues to increase in the natural state, but just how great that demand is remains up in the air. Clarissa Bustamante tells us what the Department of Health needs and the technology it's creating to help.
We are still pursuing more workforce multiplication, if you will, for contact tracing efforts in the state.
Get the popcorn ready. The Malco Theaters announced their plans of reopening this Friday in Jonesboro. Ushers will open the front doors and auditorium doors will be kept open so you don't have to touch them. There are decals on the floor to help with 6 feet social distancing. Employees will have their temperatures screened and will wear masks and gloves. Popcorn will be sold with plastic covers. Seats will also be marked off to provide social distancing. The Malco Theaters have locations across 6 states, according to Director of Marketing Karen Melton.
What's required in Arkansas may not necessarily be required in Mississippi, but the cleaning is the cleaning across the board. You can't skimp on that. We're not doing that. Our employees across the board are going to be in masks and gloves. Everyone does 6 foot social distancing. It's really, we have it in place. It's consistent at every location that we have as we're reopening.
The theater encourages everyone to purchase your tickets online and in advance because the theater can only operate at 66% capacity. According to USA Today, NBC is pulling several episodes of the 30 Rock TV series. The episodes show actors in blackface. Tina Fey says the episodes are best taken out of circulation so some comedy-loving kid isn't, quote, stung by their ugliness. As of Monday, the episodes had already been removed from Hulu, but at least one of the now banned episodes can still be seen on Amazon Prime. We may still see the boys of summer take the fields. It was announced late last night that Major League Baseball owners voted to go with a 60-game season. It would be under the terms of the March 26th agreement. The owners want players to return to camps July 1st while signing off on health and safety protocols. The league wants the players' union to respond by 4 p.m. today. Under this agreement, the season is expected to start between July 24th and 26th. Check this out. After months of taking classes online due to lockdown restrictions, some yoga enthusiasts were able to mark the International Day of Yoga together. Dozens were able to practice their poses in individual clear domes. Every student is assigned their own dome, which stands more than 7 feet tall and 12 feet wide, with a built-in heating regulation that creates a similar atmosphere to a hot yoga studio. The 50 domes are cleaned and disinfected after every use to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
The domes were pretty cool because I was able to get like a bird's eye view of all the students. So I felt like even though I wasn't able to obviously physically connect or touch any of my students to adjust them, it was really easy to like point people out and connect with them in a moment in their domes.
Organizers decided to launch the event following the abrupt closure of all non-essential businesses that continues to prevent students from visiting fitness facilities.